good afternoon. Last evening, our officers responded to an apartment building on Fredericton South Side in response to a home invasion. 3 individuals entered an apartment and made off with undisclosed items. There were occupants in the residence, however, no one was hurt. And at this point, obviously it's still under investigation, but we don't suspect that this was random. At this point, we don't believe it was a random incident. We're asking individuals who may have information about this to contact the Fredericton Police at 460-2300 or Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-TIPS.
Are you releasing any description of the three home invaders?
At this point, that's still under investigation, and some of those details are still being confirmed.
Is it true that one of them wore a mask?
I can't confirm that at this point. Again, those details are being looked at, and officers are following up on that as we speak.
Are you releasing the location or the area?
Well, it was on Fredericton South Side, and it was near the downtown area. Basically, it was in the downtown residential area.
And since it's downtown, is it students? Are you releasing anything like that, or is it a university thing?
Well, no, I'm not going to comment on. Are you talking about the perpetrators?
No, the residents.
The residents?
In a student residence?
I won't speak to the residents, but there were residents home at the time of the incident.
How many people were at home?
There were 3 people in the apartment at the time.
And how many? Excuse me. How many intruders were there?
There were 2.
Were they all male?
At this point, we're not speaking to that. Again, we're looking into it, and that is being confirmed at this time.
But they were armed with weapons of some sort?
There were weapons involved, yes.
Was there any threats uttered to the residents?
At this point, again, that's under investigation. That's a detail that is part of the investigation at this point.
Were the residents subdued in any way? Were they tied up? Or
No one was hurt.
No one was hurt?
That's right.
Okay.
And did the home invaders know the people inside the house?
Well, as I said, we don't believe that this was random. At this point in the investigation, we certainly believe that there was some type of connection there. As to the exact nature of that, I would have to speculate on that at this point.
So at this point, you can't say whether it's drug-related or not?
No, there's nothing right now that we would be able to say that it's drug-related, but we do believe there's some type of connection there.
Is this an isolated incident? I understand there might have been a previous incident last weekend, last Saturday.
There were 3 incidents last weekend. November 13th, we had a series in the downtown area of break-and-enters. We don't see any connection, or there's no evidence at this point to connect the incident from last night to last weekend.
In the other 3 incidents the past weekend, were the people at home, or?
On 2 of those incidents, there were people at home. They were certainly of a different nature than what we're speaking about last night. One I would characterize more as a type of snatch and grab from the entryway of the house, and in one other incident there were occupants home as well. And
in the case where the occupants were at home, did the perpetrators come into the residence?
Yes, they did.
So what does this tell people living in the downtown area? Perhaps people need to beef up their security, or if you have a porch, maybe you should not be leaving your porch unlocked. I mean, what do you advise? No
question. I mean, personal safety and security is something that we all have to be mindful of, certainly in this day and age, and locking our doors, making sure that items aren't close to an unlocked door, or porch, things of that nature, making sure your vehicles are locked. These are all things that we need to be thinking about, need to be aware of, and in regards to the incidents from last weekend, of course, these are some of the things that come to mind.
Again, there were no injuries in that related to those 3?
That's correct. There were no weapons that we're aware of from last weekend, and there was no one hurt.
Were items taken, or?
On one of the incidents, there were items taken.
And are all 3 of those incidents also in the downtown area?
Yes, that's correct.
Can you give a street location?
No, I can't speak to the exact location of the incidents. In the interest of the people who were victimized here, we'd like to respect that.
There seems to be, I don't know, I'm just thinking this doesn't seem to be usual in Fredericton to have a home invasion, and you just mentioned there were 3 before this one. So what would be causing this? What's being done with the police?
Well, you know, I mean, a home invasion is a way to characterize it, a break and enter. You know, if we're trying to speak to the reasons, you know, there could be a myriad of reasons, and they are under investigation, and we look to get to the bottom of them, and hopefully we'd have those answers at that time.
And did you mention, are the other ones random? Or do you know if the other home invasions were random or not random?
Well, again, there's no evidence at this point. Those are still under investigation. So at this point, we're not able to speak to that on those particular incidents. So that's a question that we'll be looking at.
Thanks.
We know if the suspects were known to any of the people in there?
You're speaking about the incident from last evening?
From last evening, yes.
At this point, we don't